unable to upload thumbnail. Unable to upload thumbnail. Unable to upload thumbnail. Oh, whoa, whoa, hello. Hello, everybody. Good morning. Good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Pardon me while I whip this out. And a good day to you, sir. Does he still write? Oh, no. He has health problems. I'm bored at work. He started streaming at the perfect time. Hey, dude, you're lucky to have a job where you can get bored. Having a job where boredom is possible is actually a blessing these days. You have a job interview in a couple hours. Congratulations. Saving money for one of these hoodies? Yes! Get it. Get the good hoodie. Bulk of the series. Arthur Digby Sellers wrote 262 episodes. Oh, wow. Bulk of the series, dude. Hello, Paul. Just got a neat edition of The Hobbit. It's a small hardback edition. Cool. Cool. Good story. Worth taking a look. Paul the Gray, it's coming. Sooner rather than later, it's coming. One of these days. You just wait. Paul the Gray will be born. Yeah, you have the gold-sided pages. That's how you know you got a quality book there, when you got that gilded page edge thing, you know. Gilded up. I think I need to go and make some coffee. I think that's going to be good this morning, so I'll take you guys with me, so I don't leave you there.
Sorry.
Oh, well, that's okay. Just coming in to make some coffee. Want a cup or two? Yay! Go for it, D. You go with Mom. I'm gonna let you guys stare at the ceiling while I do this. Dun 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 doo 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 dun dun. It's time for coffee. Medication time, gentlemen. Medication time. Medication time, gentlemen. All right. Water added. Now we just need the coffee. Where's the coffee? U-Band. The good stuff right here, man. This is high quality stuff. U-Band makes the best coffee in the world. Starbucks level quality coffee right here. What happened to your dog? Gotta rush her to the vet this morning. She's literally my best friend. Oh, God, man. That fucking sucks. I'm sorry. I hope she's okay. That's shitty news. There we go. We have coffee coming. Coffee on the way. Thank goodness for coffee. We got coffee on the way.
Sorry, we got log jammed.
I didn't even know you were coming out. I was coming out right as Amelia and Dee were coming out. We got a log jam situation. Yeah, that sucks. Sucky news. A Highdeology dog is all of our dogs. So I hope your doggy is okay. Somebody had to rush their doggy to the vet this morning. Nope. That is no fun. Bum, 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 bum. I love Salty Paul. Everybody does. You gonna go potty, D?
You gotta pee.
You're not gonna poop?
Maybe he did.
Not gonna have a poop? Send my regards to Beauregard. I don't know the guy. I don't know why everybody assumes I've got some line to Beauregard because I know Marshall Manson. Like, you want to talk to Beauregard, go talk to him yourself. He's got a Twitter. What strain am I tooting on? Oh, I got my Blue Dream out here today. My favorite strain. My favorite of favorites. Have you ever pooped and it just improves your day 100%? It's rare, but yeah, sometimes you just have that poop that feels like it set you on the right track for the day. Or it like took a bad day and made it good.
That line from Tony. This therapy feels like taking a shit.
Yeah. Yeah, this therapy feels like taking a shit. Like, I like to liken it more to childbirth. No, it's definitely like taking a shit. Yeah, that's true, too. I think one of the reasons why The Sopranos was so effective for me was because of the portrayal of the doctor-patient relationship and how accurate it is. Tony's frustration with the process is really part of actually getting help in that way. Like, you get mad at your fucking therapist. You question the process constantly, and watching him go through that in a way that, I mean, it's obvious that the show writer, the people that wrote the show or whatever the fuck, were familiar with that process, because it's very much that way in my experience.
Yeah.
I love that show.
Yeah, it's accurate. It's just truncated. The appointments are very short.
Sure. But the little flashes of epiphany and anger and angst that you see in Tony are all very true. I mean, you go into some of those therapy sessions and you feel horrible going in, you feel great coming out, and you go into some of them and you feel like going in, and you feel fucking horrible coming out. You just have to, you have to dig, and that's what makes it hard. I hate therapy, but I do it anyways because I have to in order to get better. That's a good way of looking at it. A nice solid look at one of life's underappreciated joys. Yeah. It's really hard to find a competent therapist. These days, more than ever, mental health is we're in the midst of a mental health crisis in this country. People are under more stress now than they have been in generational memory. I mean, I'm not saying that we're under more stress now than like colonial people were or whatever, but the stressors that we're under now are different from the stressors that they were under.
They're harder to address.
Right.
It's like hunger is an addressable concern. It can be hard to address, but once it's addressed, it's addressed.
Right. Tony brings this up in one of the scenes with Dr. Melfi too. He talks about how, this whole fucking therapy thing is a result of how lazy and good everybody has it now. And she says, is it such a bad thing that we've attained a level of comfort in addressing our basic needs that we can start to address our emotional needs? And that's really the crux of therapy, at least in my experience with it, is learning to connect your emotional life with your day-to-day life and find out like how those things are intersecting. And it really is like, it's portrayed a little bit like plotty in the book, like how Melfi is always able to find these connections.
Yeah. Well, at the same time, they can't show hour-long appointments.
Right. So it comes off a little bit, not in the book, in the show.
Yeah.
But it comes off a little bit plotty in the show because they can't show Tony sitting a day every day or 2 days a week in therapy for fucking 4 years. So it's truncated by showing these small meetings where these epiphanies happen, and Melfi is able to help him make connections between what's happening to him in his life and the mental health problems that he's experiencing and things that have happened in his past, things that are happening in his present, and she helps to draw those parallels. And that's part of therapy, but it doesn't happen like that usually. It doesn't happen with you going like, oh, I did this, this, and this, and then she goes, oh, the commonality is this. That's really not how therapy works. It takes session after session after session of digging and digging and digging, and it's really usually the therapist, at least in my experience, leaves it up to you to make those connections. They guide you towards them maybe, but they really want you to come through with that idea. I know you mean Tony Soprano, but my dweeb brain keeps going Tony Stark. Yeah, well, famous Tonys. Tony is just a name that, like, I don't know. It's always going to be popular, I think. I think there's always going to be Tonys around. I always thought that Anthony sounded like kind of a feminine name.
Yeah.
Not that there's anything wrong with it, but Anthony always hit me more like a female name than a male name. I guess it's the Y at the end of it. I think Antonio needs to make a comeback. Antonio Banderas, or the name Antonio. Do you ever do videography for clients or only your own vids? I don't. What? No, I'm not a videographer. Antonio Banderas had his time. He did. He did indeed. Dirty D. What are you doing? How are you? How you feel today? Having a good morning? Is Gary feminine to you? No. Hi, Paul. Hi, Jason. What nonsense are you planning on stirring up today? What ridiculous position will Jason take today? James Gandolfini played the role of Tony Soprano a little too well. Yeah. Yeah. Hey, Jason, do something funny. Do a fart for us, Jason. Come on. Bend over and do a fart, Jason. Blow the butt trumpet for us, Jason. Come on. You know you wanna. Come on. You know you need to. Come on. James Gandolfini should play Gandalf. James Gandolfini is dead. James Gandolfini will not be playing anybody anymore. He's dead. Unfortunately. Do a fucking fart, Jason. He is lame, yeah. Died in 2012 in Italy. He did. CGI Gandolfini, yeah. We're probably not far away from being able to do such things. Legends don't die. True. True that. James Gandolfini actually grew to hate the character. Well, it was his defining character. It was his defining character, and I remember watching, this was a long time ago, watching an interview with James Gandolfini talking about The Sopranos and his time on the show, and talking about how he came to hate the character of Tony Soprano, but he thinks that it's just because he's so irredeemable, and that's kind of the point of the show. You know, Tony is likable even though he's completely and utterly irredeemable as a human being. Tony is the locus of all of his problems, and he exports nothing but misery into the lives of the people around him, but he does so with this self-righteous, cocksure kind of idea that he's got it right. He's a good guy underneath it all, and he's just, you know, trying to provide for his family, and he's got all these covers for it. And he does everything he can to dance around the idea that he is at the core of his problems. He spends years in therapy and still doesn't get it. I mean, you know, he works with his therapist weekly or bi-weekly for years over the course of the show. And he has these little moments of revelation about him being the source of his own problems that are always punctuated in violent outbursts and blaming somebody else. So, I mean, I could see why you would grow to hate to play the character. Not only that, but The Sopranos was such a cultural fucking touchstone at the time that it was out there that he had to be, like, just approached in every fucking social setting and asked to be Tony Soprano, or, you know, probably needed a better therapist. That is true. Melfi is not a great therapist. She's good for him, but she's not a great therapist. She's definitely got ethical issues. But that's another thing that is very true about people that do that job. It's another stark truth that is explored by The Sopranos, which kind of flies over as this quirky mafioso family drama, but is really this intensely philosophical show. That's why I love it so much. And it can be enjoyed as a, like I said, quirky, violent, funny family drama, kind of like Married with Children, but the mafioso version of it. But buried underneath the main storyline is all of this philosophical depth. Tony exploring, I mean, like the first season is almost all about nihilism. And nihilism, rears its head over and over and over again as a plot point in The Sopranos. But the first season of The Sopranos is pretty much about how nothing means anything. Tony finds more connection in the first season of The Sopranos with a group of ducks who nest or raise their chicks in his pool than he does with his family or any other human being he's ever interacted with. It's just a very, very, very amazingly well-written show. I talk about it a lot recently because I'm rewatching it, but I'm about to be done. We're winding down season 5 and about to head into the final season. Do you think that anyone with psychopathy or sociopathy can be redeemable in any way? It depends on what you're talking about. I mean, when I called Tony Soprano an irredeemable character, it raises a question that's raised by the show itself, which is like, redeemed to who? In whose eyes does Tony need to be redeemed or redeemable? Oh, thank you, baby. Mm-hmm. They had a brain wipe to rewatch shows for the first time. I would take it for certain shows. It would be interesting to be able to do, but I'm really glad that it doesn't exist, because watching The Sopranos again with Amelia I've noticed a bunch of stuff I didn't notice on the first watch. It's definitely a show that is densely packed with sub-themes. Mm-hmm. And you see them the more you look for them. You know what I mean? It's one of those types of shows. Certain episodes will all be structured around one basic theme, but through the eyes of different characters. All the characters dealing with loss in an episode. All of the characters dealing with anxiety about their work in an episode, and that manifesting in various ways. It's a very philosophical show and a very, easy to watch and easy to love show. And Tony Soprano may be one of the greatest anti-heroes of all time. He is a totally unlikable character, but you can't help but root for him for whatever reason. It's like that, to write a sociopath to the point where you watch them and you know that they're a fucking horrible tornado destructive force in everybody's lives that's around them. He exposes his family to profound violence. He exposes everything he touches turns to shit. And it's all coming from him. You take a character that is that, and you make them this lovable thing that you're rooting for. Like, how do you do that? How do you do that in a show? Season 5, I think, is really about that. I think season 5 is about bringing the audience to grips with how fucked up Tony really is. Mm-hmm. We've seen it throughout all of the other fucking seasons for sure. But season 5 really feels like, look at what he's doing to everybody around him. Everything around him turns to shit. His cousin, goes from having this promising fucking career to being exposed to Tony and his shit, and now he's back in the fucking thing that put him in prison. Carmela is unable to escape him. She wants so desperately to get away from him and to get her children away from him, but he has blocked her every exit out of the life. And he watches her like a fucking hawk, so she can't move on, but he's out doing whatever he wants. His children are falling apart. Like, Meadow has attached herself to this guy that doesn't really fucking care for her, clearly, is clearly, like, out there looking for something else, but is too pussy to say it. Fucking AJ is falling apart, just not able to fucking handle his parents not being together and not able to handle this kind of ping-pong ball game, which is really, like, as a child of divorce, spoke pretty profoundly to me. Not all children of divorce go through this, but a lot of children of divorce go through this idea where, like, oh, I'll go live with dad because he doesn't have the rules that mom has. That's my life. I did that. I went from my mom's house where there was structure and rules, and I was expected to get up by a certain time and expected to mow the lawn and expected to do this, expected to do that, to my dad's house where really the only expectation on me was that I leave the house and appear to be going to school. He didn't even care if I actually went. But by the end of the series, you're really starting to get, it hits you with the guilt. It really does. It hits you with the, you've been rooting for this fuck for 4 seasons, and here's the aggregate of what he's done. Look at all the people he's murdered, all of the lives he's ruined, all of the people whose lives were one thing before they became involved with him and now are either over or another thing because they became involved with him. His children, his wife, his family, all of these people are just destroyed by him. And you're really hit with the guilt in season 5. Like, you rooted for this. You liked this guy. Look at his wrath. Look at his destruction. Such a great show. Divorce should be illegal. Well, you and Tony agree. We're Italians. We don't believe in divorce.
Dude, that shithead priest, too.
Yeah. I mean, like, it's great because Carmela is right. She's you remember that scene, what is it, in season 3 where she goes to a therapist and the therapist just straight out tells her, like, you have blood all over your fucking hands. The man that you love kills people for a living, murders people, rapes people, has cheated on you, is ruining your children, and is going to drag them down and you down with him. And she has this moment of realization, like, oh my fucking God, yeah. But she can't escape him. She can't get out. She's so caught in his web that she can't do it.
And she's become him in some ways.
She is him. I mean, she admits it to herself in that episode. She goes to him and accepts money for her continued participation in his life. Then in the next season, she leaves him, but she doesn't really leave him. She has the power to get the fuck out of that house if she wants to.
She has her real estate thing. Or whatever.
They show that he's keeping her on a leash, but only because she has to pay for all the food and bills and shit of this giant house. She just walked away from that and moved somewhere else with her children. She'd have a chance of getting away from the guy. But she doesn't want to give up the fruits of all of the blood money. And now in season 5, she's entitled to half of it. I want half of the blood money. You know what I mean? Instead of, fuck the money, this man's gonna ruin my children. Let's go.
I'll get a job.
I'll fucking go to the feds. Yeah. And get in the witness protection program with my children or whatever to get away from this murder and nonsense. She's not doing it. She's trying to get her piece of it. So she is him. The whole family is. That's the hypocrisy of The Sopranos writ large. Is like you're watching people that are criminals, like not just harmless Robin Hood type criminals, but literal like beat you over the head, extort you for money, fucking criminals. And yet you're looking at their family dynamic and identifying with it. You're rooting for them. It's a very, I don't know. I really love the juxtapositions in The Sopranos, and I really love the like ride that it takes you on as a watcher and the ethical problems it presents you with as a watcher. Can I root for this guy anymore? Yeah, I guess I can, because he's shown these flashes of humanity. He's shown these moments of clarity where it seems like he's about to get it, and maybe he will.
See, I think that was the problem I had, and what you probably have with Breaking Bad, is it becomes so anti-hero that it's that line to where you can root for them or not kind of starts dissolving.
Right. And it does with Tony, too. Yeah. I think does it happen towards the end of the series, or does it happen earlier on?
Probably about halfway through.
Yeah.
Start really getting challenged with it.
I mean, it's definitely like, it's an arc that you have to, if you're going to do a show or a movie that's based around an anti-hero, you have to challenge the audience. The audience has to be challenged at some point. Like, can I like this person even anymore? But how you do that is so delicate. Because if you do it too early in the series, then it becomes like, all right, fuck this guy. You know what I mean? Now I'm not even into it anymore. And that's why I think The Sopranos is so brilliant. It's not 12 seasons of shit. It's 6 seasons. You get to see profound growth and change in the characters. But it's just enough of a window for you to not feel like you're overwrought with hate for this person. Walter White was a POS by the end of the show, but everyone they pitted him against was a bigger POS with a couple notable exceptions, so it was never super hard to root for him despite his evil. They do the same thing with Tony. They surround Tony, who we get to see a profound amount of his personal life, so we get this humanized element to Tony, and they have him surrounded by all these other bosses who are more like villains in the wings, you know what I mean? But you never get to see really much of what's going on in Johnny Sax's life, right? Or Phil Leotardo's life. You get little windows into it, but you don't get to, you're never given the chance to like these people in the way that you implausibly just like Tony Soprano, despite his flaws.
The second most fleshed out would be probably Chris, honestly.
Chris is an interesting character because he's almost like the audience touchstone character. He's almost like the guy that's supposed to be our perspective in it, especially towards the end of this season that we're watching now in the beginning of the 6th season. Chris is really forced into this crisis of conscience, and it's interesting to see what the choices that he makes. But yeah, no, Chris is another character that's very fleshed out, another anti-hero character that you really want to see make good in some way, but everything in his life is just shit. It's going totally bad for him from the jump, but you really don't want it to. You want it to work out. You want him to beat whatever rap is coming. You want him to fucking make the right decision. Just like you want Tony to. You want Tony to realize in these therapy sessions that he's destroying himself and his family and to get out of what he's doing. And to realize that he could be happy if he just walked away from it all and became a more normal person. But he's not willing to do that. He's not willing to relinquish the power he has over people. His sociopathy drives his need for that. And so it can never be questioned. Plus, it's all wrapped up in his father figure worship and shit. His father, of course, being higher up in the mafia structure, and Tony just relentlessly emulating him. So there's a lot to be spoken about the father-son relationship in The Sopranos. A lot about the mother-daughter relationship as well. Carmela and Meadows' relationship is really interesting and complicated and probably very much real for a lot of people, I would imagine, in the same way that AJ's relationship with his father is real to me as a son. cycles of familial abuse. Yep. All kind of just wrapped up, like I said, in this show that, if you wanted to, could be enjoyed as just a kind of raucous, weird family sitcom. You know? You don't have to read all this stuff into The Sopranos. It just challenges you to. It's enjoyable on the face of it. It's enjoyable as a story arc without digging into the philosophical underpinnings, without applying its lessons in your own life and seeing the parallels. It's a pretty rare piece of media, honestly, like for me. And maybe I should, after I'm done with this, jump into Breaking Bad. Maybe the pandemic is now my time to watch Breaking Bad and see how I feel. I really do. I love Bryan Cranston as an actor, and I've heard that it's great from a lot of people whose opinions I trust about things, and so I know I'll probably like the show. I just don't know if I'm prepared for it.
Yeah, it's definitely harder to watch than Sopranos.
Yeah. It's got less of a comedic bent to it, I would imagine.
Yeah.
I mean, the real fucking phenomenon of The Sopranos was James Gandolfini. That role, everybody in The Sopranos, I think, the principal characters do a fantastic job. Carmela especially is standout, amazing, good. But that central role of Tony Soprano is so dead on. I can see why he came to hate it. He probably came to hate it for the same reason that, like, Kurt Cobain came to hate Smells Like Teen Spirit, because it defined him in a lot of people's eyes. He was just that person. And when you have a role like that, it's like, look at the Star Wars people. Look at Mark Hamill. Now, Mark Hamill went on to have a really fruitful career. He's been in other movies, and he's a voice actor, and he really has the most iconic Joker voice. Most people, when they think of the Joker's voice, think of Mark Hamill. But his screen career was almost nothing after Star Wars. He played Luke Skywalker, and that's really what he is forever. You know what I mean? Like, you play one of these iconic characters, and it's very, very tough. Like, Harrison Ford played Han Solo, and he was able to individuate. He was able to go on and play Indiana Jones and go on and play fucking, these different roles, define himself differently. But it's very hard for some actors to escape that when they play a role that is so wildly globally popular and so widely loved and emulated as Tony Soprano. But the reason for that is he is that character. He inhabited that character on the screen. He doesn't drop. He doesn't have these moments that you feel are out of character for Tony Soprano. He's fully committed to it. Everything about it is just authentic and real and coming from a very real place inside of James Gandolfini. And that plays well with you, whether or not you're into acting, a film buff, movie buff, or whether you're just a casual watcher.
I mean, like, that crooked grin he has throughout the show is just perfect.
He's perfect for that role. He was born to play it. He plays it with such aplomb and such fucking, like, just absolutely definitive provenance that you can't even imagine another person ever taking up that mantle. And that takes an immense amount of skill. Immense. The dude was an immensely talented person. He's actually got a really great role that, if you like James Gandolfini, you may not have seen it. There's a movie called The Mexican. It stars Julia Roberts and Brad Pitt. And James Gandolfini plays a conflicted gay hitman in that movie, where he starts off in a very kind of Tony Soprano-esque role, but then slowly but surely comes to identify with the person that he's holding hostage and comes out to her as gay and all of this. It's a very fucking amazing role. Really sad to watch. and it's buried in this movie that most people don't watch because it's just kind of like a, I don't know, comedy, raucous adventure movie that, I don't know. It didn't get a whole lot of buzz when it came out, but his role in it is really fucking phenomenal. There's a movie called The Mexican, and every starring actor is white. You love irony, yeah. What was that?
Is 8mm any good with fucking Nicolas Cage?
Nah.
No.
I mean, not really. Yeah.
That's another Gandolfini movie.
He doesn't play a huge role in it. Or at least doesn't. Or is he? Wait a minute. 8mm. Am I getting 8mm mixed up with Snake Eyes?
So there's 8.
Is he the
Cage, and there's Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah. I don't know. I'd have to watch it again. It's been so much fucking time since I've seen that movie.
Yeah.
But I don't think Gandolfini has a huge role in it. Yeah. Andromeda, your duck, started laying eggs. Oh, shit. Do you think they've been doing the business? Have they been doing the business, Lord of Duck? Has one of those other ducks, has Pickle whipped out his curly weenie and navigated the maze of Andromeda? Oh, snap. They've been doing the business. Ducklings on the way. Ducklings. Dude, I can't wait for ducklings.
Are you going to incubate them again, Lord of Duck?
Yeah. You planning on incubating, or are you just going to let Andromeda handle it, or what? Like, how do you do it? Dude, I bet Pickle's the dad.
Oh, dude, that's right. He was in the 12 Angry Men remake.
He was, and he's great.
That was...
Yeah, that's a great role. Yeah, he was in the... that's one of the examples of a remake film that it doesn't eclipse the original, but it actually gives it a running. It's a great remake.
Oh, you're not hatching them?
Yeah. His curly weenie, dude. Yeah, dude. Duck wieners. They have to navigate the maze. There's like dead ends and shit in a duck vagina. You gotta find the fucking...
No babies.
Get baby chicks this spring, though. Yeah. Ducklings. Quack, quack.
Yeah, you can't breed every egg, I guess.
Yeah, that's true. Lord of Duck doesn't have infinite duck space. He's got to, he's got to keep it under control. What should you drink for your 21st? Oh, what do you want?
Yeah. I mean, probably cocktails are less available considering.
Yeah, you should probably get something that you can't get before you're 21.
Yeah.
It's like if you're like most people, by 21 you've tried, beer and you've had some liquor and you've drank before. So go out and get like a fucking apple teeny or some shit.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying you might not be able to. You might have to make your own cocktail.
Oh yeah, that's right. Because of I guess bars are. It depends.
Yeah, it depends on your city.
Yeah, I guess I forgot COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you got outdoor dining and shit, you could probably get something, but...
Yeah, like you were able to get a mimosa when we did the outdoor dining shit a couple of weeks ago, so you can, order a drink and have it delivered to you or whatever. Irish car bombs have a messed up name, but they're delicious. Yeah. Sake bombs are fun to drink, but you'll get real drunk real quick.
But yeah, an apple teeny is probably a good suggestion.
Yeah.
There's pretty much any
I almost want to troll him, but you can't anymore. Yeah. I would tell him to get a cement mixer. That's a troll drink that you order for a friend. It's a drink that looks and tastes fine, but it's made in a certain way that the cream curdles when you drink it, and it turns into cottage cheese in your mouth. It's called a cement mixer. You get one of those for somebody that isn't in the know. Maybe I should start trolling these 21-year-olds and tell them, like, go order a cement mixer. I can't remember what's in it. You have to look it up. But it's got, like, a Kahlua and Irish cream, I think, in it, and something else. And, the way that it's mixed is, like, when you mix it up in your mouth, it has layers in it. And, like, when you shoot it back, it's served like a shooter. Once it mixes in your mouth, it turns all curdly. You can go look it up, dude. I shit you not. It's called a cement mixer. A lot of like bartenders won't make it for you unless you pay up front because it's a joke drink.
Yeah.
Lemon juice might be the way that they do it.
They're probably like, I ain't getting this person pissed off at me.
Yeah. Like, you have to pay them, and, like, they have to know that you're doing a joke and that the person isn't going to blame them for what happens and shit. Because they don't want somebody yelling or getting pissed at the bar. You know, it's a joke drink. It's not meant to be made or enjoyed. There were a couple of, like, the first lady I was ever in a long-term relationship with was kind of a lush. So was I at the time. We spent a lot of time at bars. And she was a big fan of, like, these mixed drinks. And through her, I tried a bunch of different, like, weird shooters and shit. She was a bartender at one point, on and off. And so she knew all these weird drinks. So she would order this drink called a brain aneurysm, which is, it sounds horrible, but it's actually really tasty. And it's called that because it takes a little skill for the bartender to make it. You make it in a clear glass, and it's got a blob of cream in the middle of it that's surrounded by alcohol, and then you take a little tool and you put a blob of grenadine in the center, and it looks like it's bleeding.
Yeah.
Like it looks like an aneurysm. And it's a very tasty drink. She knew all these shooters. She liked purple nurples, and she got me into Midori sours for a while. Like, for a while, that was I would go order that when I would go to the bar all the time. But I drank so much of them that I can't even really think about drinking Midori anymore. But Midori sours are really good. It's like watermelon liqueur. So, you know what I mean? You know, now you see I don't even really drink the strawberry watermelon Mio. It's because of Midori. I can't do melon liqueur, dude. I just drank too many of them. But a Midori sour is pretty good. You could try it, see if you like it.
But in terms of, like, just straight liquor, like, Jameson straight's pretty good.
It's a shot of Irish cream and then a shot of lime juice. The lime juice curdles the Baileys. Got it. Well, there you go. Now you know. Sorry, what was that, baby?
Oh, no, I'm saying, like, in terms of, like, straight liquor, Jameson is probably one that you can appreciate straight.
Yeah, I mean, if you're into bourbons and whiskeys and shits, I can't really do straight Jameson. My skunk fascination started young. I remember my dog got skunked. I remember playing with them and getting the smell on me. My fate was sealed. This guy's been in here a few times. He's changed his name now to Sammy the Skunk. But he tells a story every time he comes in about, like, apparently he goes out and he finds skunks and he lets them spray him. And he likes to smell the skunk smell. So he's whatever. I mean, hey. I can do. See, I had a really bad experience with shooting whiskey. My first real drinking experience happened when I was like 12 years old. And I was over at my friend's house. He was having a birthday party. His parents were out of town. And, well, I was 12 or 13. And I'd drunk before then, like I'd had beers and stuff, but we were shooting Jack Daniels. And I fucking threw up so bad. And it was just pure Jack Daniels coming out of me. And since then, I've had an aversion to that taste. I can't really shoot that. Now, it's different for me with rum. Like brown rums, I can shoot rum all day. Rum doesn't have that same fucking thing for me. Tequila the same way. I can shoot tequila all day. Or I used to be able to. I wouldn't do it now. But I can't deal with whiskeys, bourbons. I don't like scotch at all. I just can't really appreciate it.
When I got a shot of Jameson for my 21st, it was at like a strip club. It was like $20 for the shot.
Yeah. I gotta check something. Hold on. Sometimes a business, it has to be handled. Just the way it goes. Only 18 true believers. You know. It just happens. Sorry, guys. Sometimes Paul gotta go do business. Paul need phone to do business.
Will they ever come back? Dun, dun, dun.
We are back. Yeah, we just finally finalized the firing of TJ. He has been fired. You will never see TJ ever again. His rudeness and his churlishness finally got to us. Scotty and I can no longer stand by and allow TJ to make fools of us all, to make spaghettios of us all. No, just had to schedule some shit. Had what I like to call a text meeting, which I guess, you know, is supposed to be better than just getting on a phone call real quick. For some reason. I don't know what that reason is. I'm too boomer to understand. Because it takes me way longer to type out a sentence going like than it would for me to go like, let's do it on this day. Okay, cool by me, bye. But whatever.
I was looking at YouTube. Sky News has this video like Joe Biden needs his wife's help because he's cognitively impaired. And I looked at everything else and it's like Sky News is peddling conspiracy theories.
It's like, no. Joe is like fucking, he's 70 something. That's not a shocking fucking revelation. He does appear with her a lot, sitting next to him and shit. Mm-hmm. She's like his Nancy Reagan.
Yeah.
She's working the puppet machine on his back. Paul, did you win chicken dinner on PUBG while you were offline? What? Huh? What are you talking about? I don't even play PUBG. Whine Mom Copium.
Yep.
I mean, kinda, yeah. Pretty much. I hope Biden is a one-term president. I mean, he's shaping up to be one. He's very much shaping up to be one. It's weird reading scholarly articles on QAnon and trolls for my journalism class. Yeah. How did TJ take the news of being fired? He was like, whatever. I don't fucking care. Like, I give a shit. And then he hung up. So, you know, whatever. The expected response.
But you have so much in the bank, you won't notice for like 2 years.
Yep. We have so many shows in the bank that you guys won't actually see TJ be fired for like 2 years. Do you ever consider setting up an alternative to Patreon for DFF content? Lots of people abstain from Patreon because they are very pro censorship. I
don't
mean,
think Patreon's ever fucked with you guys.
yeah, I mean, setting up an alternative to Patreon would effectively split our Patreon. Phone calls, phone calls every day. I saw a Louisiana zip code, so I wanted to make sure it wasn't somebody that I knew that I don't have in my phone. It was just a fucking spam, like, you have a fucking whatever. I don't know. Your warranty is about to expire. This is phone control to Major Paul. Yeah, dude, my phone is controlling the stream today. No, it happens. I mean, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? What about TJ happened? Just like a 5-second explanation or something?
It was. Come on, y'all.
You still get these calls in Merca? Yeah, you still do. Goon with a tire iron letting Paul know the job is done. Yeah. I got it done for you, boss. Anyone else what needs clobbering? It's like, no, Willie. You can go home. Thanks. You just give me a call you need anybody else clobbered. All right. TJ's fine still. Yeah, it was a joke, dude. I was joking that I fired TJ. Okay? If you have to explain
on stream,
if you have to explain a joke, it's not a joke. I'm just letting you know that you kill a joke when you explain a joke. Like, explaining why a joke is funny is how you murder a joke. Yeah. The troll, dude, that owned me last night. Paul and Scotty fired TJ. What more explanation do you need? What?
Who's that growly growl?
Why are you so mean? Why are you so mean? Where's your ball? Give me your ball.
Which one?
Pick a ball. You want that little ball? Okay. Get it. Come on. You're so lazy in the morning. It's like he doesn't want to fetch till like evening time. Oh, the fart of humanity is great today. There used to be YouTube vids like why Louis C.K.'s jokes work. I think I'd rather drink bleach than ever watch them. Yeah, your big brain humor style is too much for some people. I know. I make such fucking like highbrow jokes. They fly right over the head. You ever talked about your Lebowski list, Paul? My Lebowski list? Was ist Schloss? The fuck is a Lebowski list? All German food is great. I don't know about that. I have had German food, though, and it's pretty good. You said it was on your list of movies that were evergreen. Yeah. The Big Lebowski is a movie that I think will remain evergreen. There's a number of these movies. I watched one for the first time that was older than me with Amelia back a year ago or so. African Queen. Dope movie. I could watch that movie again and really enjoy it. It was made in the 50s.
Yeah, not really racist, which you would think based on the title.
Yeah. I mean, there's a little bit of problematic shit implied at the beginning of the movie when she's like, running a church for the natives, but
that's what happens.
Yeah. But the movie's, it's not a big race movie. It's, an adventure film.
What is it, like the Russians are the enemy or something?
Yeah. It is the Russians or something. What about the woke culture do you disagree with? First of all, I'm not exactly sure what you're talking about when you say woke culture. So what I think of as woke culture, you might not think of as woke culture, but when you say woke culture, I think of people that endlessly shame other people for not speaking exactly how they want them to speak or whatever the fuck. I think that there are ways, because like for me, I changed the way that I talk, not based on being badgered into it, but based on listening to people explain it to me. Not explain to me why I was wrong to choose a word, but explain what the power of that word was in their lives. I was able to make connections of some of the words that I used in my own life. And so introspection is the best tool. There's a psychological precept that it's much better to try and make someone think that they came up with an idea themselves than it is to try and turn someone on to an idea. I think it's why these like cult sort of, multi-level marketing schemes / religious cults like Scientology and shit. I think that's why they're successful in getting people that are otherwise very smart, aware people. They present them this puppet show where they curate this very carefully designed psychological feedback loop that makes the person think that they came to these revelations themselves through the study of this book or whatever it is. And that is... I really wish this guy would cut down that fucking tree already. Cut it down. I'm tired of that saw. So anyway, my problems with woke culture are people that are overtly looking to be offended everywhere. People that are overtly like, I guess like, I don't know, dude. It almost feels like they're mothering you when they shame you for saying a word or using a phrase or whatever the fuck. Like that sort of thing.
Or people that get offended on behalf of other people.
That too.
Like I can't believe how many people I've heard where it's like, it's African American, not black. It's like, have you talked to a black person?
Right. Like, when's the last time you had a fucking dialogue with a black person? Like, whatever.
My fucking stepdad gets offended by African American because he doesn't see himself as African.
Right. Like, how about just American? How about that? And if you've got to add a racial designation to it, then you decide which one you want to do. Personally. How about that? I'm going to match you toke for toke. No, you're not.
You ain't gonna survive, dude.
I'm smoking Keef, too. So keep that in mind. But, you know, you're not gonna. I'm just letting you know that you're gonna have a bad time trying to keep up with me. And by the way, like matching me toke for toke, you'd have to start this over. Really, to do that. And you wouldn't even be able to type. You're smoking moon rocks. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Here's to you. I generally smoke more than Paul in these streams, but I'm also primarily smoke blunts and joints where Paul is mostly on pipes. Yep. I smoke a lot when I'm doing these streams, but in between streams, a couple of times a day, I'll take a toke or something. So I'm not like an all day puffing on a fucking joint kind of guy. I like to smoke a few bowls and get high and then mellow out. To be quite honest with you, one of the greatest benefits to me of getting high, getting super duper high, is that it releases a lot of the tension in my upper, middle back, and neck. And I'm able to get some stretches off that feel almost impossible when I'm not as relaxed as I can get and rubbery as I can get when I get a little high. That's one of the main benefits to me, pain management wise. Weed is like a multiple, it treats multiple things in me. It helps with my depression, it helps with my anxiety, and it helps with the constant back pain that I deal with every single day of my life. Like, it makes that tolerable on some level. It lets me tune out of that and tune into things like this, or watching a fucking movie, or sitting down and enjoying a video game a little bit here and there, or making my show, because I'm in pain all day. And it sucks, but it just is. I like to smoke before I work out. Yeah, it really does feel like it loosens up your muscles, and I don't know. I feel like I have a better range of motion and shit when I'm a little bit stoned. Lets me get in some good stretching. It's not going to be a tree left when that guy's done. Is he trimming that tree or just butchering it?
Maybe his fucking saw is dull or something.
I don't know, because he's going through like tiny little branches and it's taking him like fucking forever. So yeah, he's got like a shit saw. Yeah, this guy doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. He almost chopped himself in half. I'm going to stop watching him. He literally almost tripped on a limb, and the fucking... never mind. I don't even want to describe what just happened. So the smoking is more for physical reasons than mental, emotional? No, it's a little bit of both. It also helps to lift me up a little bit out of depression. It also helps to mitigate my panic disorder. You know, so it's a little bit of both. But I would say that primarily it is to mitigate the physical pain that I'm in.
Yeah. You guys really need to picture what he's doing. He's like taking thin ass fucking branches and doing them one at a time.
Yeah, homeboy has he's got a fucking chainsaw and he's trimming these limbs. And I'm watching him, right? And he tripped on a limb and like almost fell with the chainsaw. And the chainsaw was revved and just came swinging back, like whoa! When he went to catch his balance, and I was like, dude, this guy's gonna fucking chop his own leg off here in a second. And like the way that he's trimming that tree too, I can tell you he's doing damage to that tree. So whoever hired him, they hired somebody cheap that doesn't know anything about trees and doesn't know how to cut trees. He's just literally hacking a tree right during springtime when it's starting to flower, and he's taking off all the lower limbs. So he's going to damage the tree. And if he doesn't damage the tree, he's going to fucking cut his own dick off.
Maybe he's hiding now. Maybe you heard
Yeah,
me.
maybe the sound traveled over there and he knows I'm watching him now. Or maybe he's like realizes maybe he should fucking not cut his own dick off.
No, he's back.
No, he's coming back. He's coming back. He's got his Jason hockey mask on now. He's finally he decided to put a mask on. He's going back at it. You cut
like 2 leaves at a time.
Yeah. You cut many trees in your life, Paul? No. Paul quietly judging him from a distance. I really am. I really am. You're going to hear a loud scream of pain on stream, dude. I'm telling you. What if he's watching the stream? He's on to you. The jig is up. Yeah, maybe he's like, maybe I'm being punked. Maybe that's Ashton Kutcher over there, and he's about to cut his own arm off. And I'm gonna go, oh my gosh! And then he's gonna go, you've been punked, bro.
He just needs to use a goddamn machete.
Yeah. Back in my day, that's what he would have done. He'd have got that machete. Oh, all right. I think I'm done. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.